Hey everyone, thanks for tuning back in to mattsteinway.com. I've got to talk about Neil Jenman on Today Tonight the other night. I don't even know what to say about it, because McGrath in Sydney, I'm not saying this because it's McGrath, it just happened to be McGrath handling the property, but there was a place that sold in Sydney, you might have saw it, that sold for like almost $1 million over reserve. The reserve was 1.35 and it sold for 2.2. Two bidders were fighting over it. Anyway, so John McGrath got on and, he talked about where the reserve was, and then, one of the buyers walked over to the other buyer during the auction and said, you may as well stop bidding because I'm going to be owning it. And it just kept going. So, obviously the owners were pretty pumped, getting almost $1 million more than what they thought. But then it shoots across to Neil Jenman, and Neil Jenman says, and we know how he loves auctions, but Neil Jenman says that's what we call a heart buyer. And if the process, so basically I can't remember the exact words that he used, but it was like this. He said basically if the auction process didn't produce the best result, sort of along these lines. You have to have a look on the website, the Today Tonight website. I'm sure it's on there. I'm pretty sure it's Today Tonight or Current Affair. One of those two. Anyway, he says the auction process didn't do its job because the buyer that bought it would have paid more, because that's what he calls a heart buyer. And he said, if it wasn't the auction process, the buyer would have paid more. And I'm like, what? Would have paid more? And I'm like thinking to myself, can't be serious. That's like $1 million more than what the owners, the reserves around where an owner expects or would like. That's where they set it. They'd be quite happy with that result. And I was just amazed that I understand that he doesn't like auctions. I get that, and I understand why. And I do know some of Neil Jenman's system, private treaty, and there's pluses and minuses to both. But I guess the reason I wanted to talk about this is not only I was amazed that he thought the result wasn't a premium, but I think also for someone or a business, not just his, anyone's, to take a stance that auctions aren't the go, auctions don't work, and just only have the position of private treaty, and us as salespeople as well, just to make one recommendation because that's just what we think and that's all we agree with. I don't know that that's the best strategy either. I don't think it is, personally, because sometimes auction, in that case especially, can produce an amazing result. Amazing. And that method happened to be suited to that property really well and caused a hype of activity. And I would really say that if that was a private treaty, just with a normal negotiation, I don't think it would have got anywhere near that. I think it's the hype and the energy and the format that was created to enable it for the buyers to get emotionally carried away with the property and become so attached to owning it that they were willing to spend more than $1 million above market. There you go. What an awesome end result for the owners, and having selected the auction process. And wouldn't it have been a shame if the agent, if it was the McGrath agent that handled it, and McGrath didn't do auctions and said, look, we just do private treaty and we look for one heart buyer. Imagine how much it would have cost the owners. It would have cost them a lot, because that missed opportunity, because that method suited that property perfectly, I think. That's just my opinion. And I think us as real estate agents to be just weighted on one side rather than the other and not give owners options, I don't know we're doing the best thing by the marketplace. And it's And I know people are going to have different opinions on this, and I'm just looking at this one instance and running off what Neil Jenman's comments were, which is fine. I mean, he can have his opinion on that for sure. We all can. But I just thought it was a really nice result for the owners. Great. I mean, obviously the buyers ended up wanting to pay that, so that's up to them. But I just think that had they not have gone that way, gee, I reckon it wouldn't have been anywhere near that. Just my thoughts on the process. But so anyway, as agents, I reckon it's getting really versed in all different options for owners, all different methods, and then putting it on the table and making recommendations around what could potentially best suit their property, and then let them make the decision, rather than just saying, no, we don't do auctions because they don't produce the best result. We only do private treaty, pretty much. I don't know that's really, what would you call it? I don't know if that's giving owners the ability to choose on the right information, I guess. You know, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it properly. But I suppose when you do, when you have a lot of clarity around each of the methods, and you can allow an owner to have all of the clear information, then choose what best they feel best suits them, and you can make recommendations around some good case studies on all methods, and then see what they resonate with. I think that's the best way to go. Question of the day today: do you like auctions or not? And I'd love to hear about why and why not. Let's have a conversation going around this. Love to hear about it. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, helping make this real estate world a much better place. See you on the next video.